Pull up the curtains.
Turn on the lights.
It's gonna have glamour.
Shining bright.
This is the show.
The very best kind.
Is everybody feeling fine? There ain't no business like show business, baby.
Show
It is show time.
And we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a good time. Each and every one.
Isn't it fabulous? I love this dress. I think for me the biggest challenge and always something that I always really like to stay focused on while designing each season is to be able to really blend each season together in a very realistic way, because time is passing, and so it's been an interesting challenge to figure out, okay, what costumes are going to be reused again. Because I love that too, and I think it's really fun for the audience to be able to see pieces that they're really familiar with, and at the same time being able to see new costumes that show this passage in time. In designing the show, it's always a combination of three things. I design and we build a lot for the principal cast at the shop, and I'll buy vintage, and I work with dealers that really are specific to the film and TV industry that gather vintage pieces from all over the United States, and then they send pieces to me, which is a great resource. And then I also buy vintage, and I'll redesign vintage, or maybe it'll just be altered specifically to that character. Sometimes I'll find the perfect piece, which is great too. The only contemporary piece that I end up using a lot is the men's shirts from Brooks Brothers, and then I'll recut the collars to be period collars. But because we have to have so many multiples of the shirts, it's been the best way for me to to have a contemporary garment but make it period. And also Brooks Brothers makes the slim fit, which is a very period cut as well. So that's been a great resource.
The characters have had such dramatic growth changes this year. How has that played into the way that you've chosen the costumes and designed their look for them?
Well, I think probably you're speaking of Peggy specifically, right?
And
she's had such an amazing transformation. Betty really has too. I love the whole idea of Betty Francis having the idea in her head, I am the perfect wife of a politician, and for me that was all about looking to Jackie Kennedy for inspiration in what she would feel like was appropriate for that marriage. And so that was really fun to play with all those elements, and I think you can see in her silhouettes that they're a little bit different, although we do have silhouettes from past seasons as well, because she is also very classic, so it was a marriage of putting those things together. And then for Peggy, that was all about her growth within the company, so professionally, but also Matt Weiner said something so brilliant which totally inspired me, because he said, Peggy is getting younger while Pete is getting older. And so you have like these two people that meet in season one and then have this total split and paths of where their lives are going. So for Peggy, that I really took that as like, I really want to illustrate that in Peggy's situations of her dating life. So you really see her, one scene I'm speaking of in particular is when she's at the beach with her friends. And she's just wearing like this really great little skirt, and then this striped t-shirt, little flat sneakers, and it's very youthful and something that you really don't see her as in the office. So, and also when she goes to the party, that was another great way to show how she's definitely more on the button of what's going on. It's funny because I always tease my mom because she never listened to the Beatles, or I don't even think she knew that the war was really going on. And I think it's so, in a way, because she was raising 4 children, and her life was so isolated, you know, with raising the family, having a husband. So I think it's interesting, and I use this in the show too, because you have characters that really do know what's going on, and then you have other characters like Betty Draper that it's very insular, like they're very much in their own lives. So I don't know why I said that, but I was just thinking about that.
Yes, thank you.